No cannons tonight because, you know, there were no tributes that died in the Hunger Games, so don't have to worry about anybody getting concussed from that sound going off in the building. I'm sorry, that was weird. The Golden Knights win 4-0 against the Columbia Blue Jackets. It's a Columbia Blue Jacket. Yeah. Shutout for Adin Hill, and great. Good, fantastic. I'm gonna break down why after I turn in my homework, because we normally do that at the beginning of class, and I assigned myself some last game. And I think I like the results. We won a game that started before 7 p.m. That's a rare occurrence. Well, okay, we are 16, now 17, 14 and 2 on games that started before 7 p.m. 7 p.m. or later, so like our normal home time, or, you know, later, which happens in like California / Pacific Coastline games. We are 22-6-4. It is by definition Vegas not starting on time because they just don't. Like, this is 32 games and 32 games. It's 64 games, now 65. And right down the middle between the both sides. And the record on one side is completely ridiculously better because Vegas, for some reason, just do better at games that start 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or later, which is why games against Eastern Conference or on road trips to the East generally have sucked this year. I'm saying it's this rather than it being against Eastern Conference teams. I should probably do the homework to compare the two different sides of the schedule there to, I guess that's my homework for Saturday's game. But based on the law of averages, we have 9 games left that start 7 p.m. or later and 8 games left that start earlier than that. And so that would mean that based on the average, we should go 6-2-1 for the games that start at 7 p.m. or later for an additional 13 points. And then we should probably go about 4-3-1 in the remaining 8 games for earlier than 7 p.m., which would give us another 9 points, which would give us a total of 22 more points on top of the 85 that we have, giving us a total of 107, which is good. You know? Plus, like, who knows? We could be getting hot at the right time. This game is a perfect example of the type of game that you want to play against a fringe playoff opponent. Columbus, you've done fantastic things this season, better, far better than any of us could have projected given the circumstances regarding your team. And I am really happy for the Blue Jackets and their fans in terms of their on-ice success this season so far. And would it be cool for them to squeak into the playoffs? Yeah. They have a lot of promising young talent, and they are just, the vibes in the locker room really seem to be connected and strong and strung together that hopefully they can ride that into improving even more next season, right? That being said, my loyalties lie with the team that I'm wearing, and so I'm glad that they won. 4-0 dominant game, except it wasn't because, like I alluded to, Vegas doesn't start on time at these games that start earlier than 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that continued to be true for this game because we got outshot attempts 15, 18, nothing. And shots at halfway through the first period were 8-0. We were on pace to be outshot 48-0 through the first 10 minutes of the game. And that's not good, but you know, it wasn't ever gonna be that. And Vegas scores on their first shot attempt on a power play. Oh my goodness, our power play is so freaking good. Board battle in the offensive zone that we end up winning. Hurdle sends it back to Hannafin, who gives it back to Hurdle at about center ice, who passes it over to Eichel, who's in the typical stone spot on that power play, was just on the goal line on that left side, and then passes it over to Nick Waugh on the other end, who tips it home past Merzlikins to Elvis, who was in the building tonight. Vegas reference. And we are on the board 1-0. Despite the fact that Columbus, for the most part, has been outplaying us, and the only reason we're on the board and have a single shot attempt at this point is because we had a power play. And then to end the first period, there is a face-off. We end up getting to the puck that goes behind the net because of an amazing forecheck from Riley Smith. And we get the puck down and sent towards the net. It's saved, but the rebound is there for the taking, and Brendan Saad with the amazing battle in front to be able to get possession of that puck, backhand roofs it, like the goalie didn't see this coming, Merzlikins, and it's 2-0 Vegas. And it's just great because we've been outshot, outchanced, outperformed so far up to this point. But because we have capitalized on our chances, we're up 2-0 going into the second. In transition, halfway through the second period, there's a breakout play where Dorofeev gets it up to Saad, who tips it, I think trying to catch it, and it goes over to Hurdle. Hurdle beats the Columbus Blue Jacket to the puck and pulls up and finds the trailer in Dorofeev with a perfect pass over to him, who's wide open, and he wires it, and it's 3-0. Fantastic! And I'm just gonna wrap it up here. 4.5 minutes left. Columbus pulls their goalie. We have an empty net to shoot on, and Alex Pietrangelo from 190 feet out wires it perfectly dead center towards the bullseye into the back of the net, and it's 4-0 Vegas. Adin Hill with a shutout, and in large part due to him just being really solid, our best player in the first period, and in general, in position, making solid saves, and he wasn't the best in rebound control, but the fact is our defense and our skaters were on top of it and sweeping out the puck away from where the rebounds were. We were the first ones to the pucks. And that's fantastic stuff from us, on top of a little bit of good puck luck. I'm going to acknowledge that in general. But it was just a really solid 60-minute performance from Adin Hill, from our defensive structure that we maintained throughout, and then capitalizing on the chances that we got, which include Saad having a really good game. Saad and Wah both had fantastic chances throughout this game. We're only able to capitalize on one each, but it was really evident to me that they were, like, Nick Wah could have had a hat trick by halfway through the game, but he only had the one goal, and it was just because we were really good at being able to create these chances and making them dangerous. And Merzlikins had to make some really good saves, but he couldn't make them all. And Vegas wins a really good game, just great game. Honestly, I have no notes. It's perfect. Just frame it, put it in the shelf. We know how to play a game like that against a team that is borderline playoffs, so we need to be able to perform like that against tougher opponents as well. Sorry, Columbus, not trying to punch you while you're down and at a loss. But our next, honestly, I really don't know what else to say. I will say Riley Smith also had a shorthanded chance, and it made me think back to a promise that I had made to myself that I'm gonna just make publicly now. The year that we won the Stanley Cup, we had Phil Kessel on our team, Phil the Thrill, and I made a thing, like a declaration when we acquired him, that I was gonna eat a hot dog for every goal he scored that year, and I did, and that was a lot of, it was not a ton of hot dogs, but it was more than I normally eat in any given amount of time. 14 goals. Did he have any in the postseason? No, just the 14 goals in the regular season. So not a ton, but like that was great for what his role was. And so Riley Smith, anytime he scores a goal for the rest of the season, including playoffs, I will eat a Granny Smith apple, which is a lot healthier, and that is just evident of me getting older and needing to make more healthy choices. And also the fact that it's a Granny Smith apple, Riley Smith, his emoji, etc. All that stuff that fits, and he's the most food-framed one because I'm not gonna eat turtles for Hurdle. That's no. So yeah, just let's please Riley Smith score a hat trick every game the rest of the way through. That would be fantastic, you know. That would be a lot of apples, but we'll figure it out. I want him to score. I want to be able to eat as many of those as possible in the next several months. But that's gonna be it for a game. I really, no notes. My homework for next game is figuring out and comparing the difference between the records of the time versus records versus West and East to really just confirm you know, that the statistic is specifically in range for the time start rather than the opponent. But class dismissed. That's going to be it for Game 65's Nightly Review. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.